Welcome back there, buds. Today we're gonna go back to school with this little fella. It's an old school type of desk. It's got a main drawer there, 3 little down the side. A couple need a little bit of TLC. And we got that little, this extra writing space. Doesn't really need re-glued or anything. We just got to strip it down, sand it up, get a finish on it. So stick around, make sure you subscribe, like, follow along, ring the bell to keep up to date with all the recent uploads, and let's get to it. Well, I got these drawers out of there. Those should all strip and sand up pretty good. Pretty easily, and then we got the back panel off just to access some of the bits a little easier. And then when I took out that side drawer, the back of it there, that's the original finish. Nice, like little reddish tint kind of. So we're gonna go ahead now and get that top stripped, because I know how you guys like to strip. got that cleaned off. Hose it off with the air gun. And I'm just gonna wipe it down here a little bit with some mineral spirits. So this drawer here came apart on me. So we'll get it glued back up. Just get a little bit of that glue in there. Get your brush. Get it all nice and covered. Get a little bit up on that side. And wipe the excess off. And just gonna put maybe 3 little brads in there. Yeah, I think 2 will do it. Now let's just finish up some of the odds and ends. This is that little side piece, that little pull out that you would just use to, I guess, to write on, or extra space or something. Now that I got everything pretty much stripped pretty good, I think what I'm going to do now, do one last pass, hit these couple pieces of paint with stripper real quick just to knock that off. Anything that'll make it easier when I go to sand. Now that I got that wiped all down and all these pieces all stripped, it's always best just to let them dry overnight, because if you go try to sand it before it's all finally dry, you're just going to end up gumming up your sandpaper and just wasting a lot of sandpaper. So, you know what we like to do when we need to let things dry? Let's get old Bucko out there in the woods. All those coming up. It's getting to be spring, I think, Buck. It's getting to be spring. Alright, we got everything all set and dried overnight. Not sure what's inside this drawer. I think that might be some sort of glue or a hot glue. Stripper didn't touch it. Maybe I'll try to heat it a little bit. That's all just raw wood in there, so can't really hurt it that much. Everything's looking pretty good. I'm still not sure what this wood is. Thought it was pine at first. It's definitely not pine. I think it's a mix of maybe poplar, possibly some cherry or maple. Some of the legs even look like they're different. Maybe a mix of maple in there. It's hard to say. I'll know a little bit better when I start to sand, because you could usually tell a little better with the smells. So let's get to sanding. We'll start here with a disc sander with some 150 grit, then go to hand. And some 60 grit on that disc sander. Made some quick work of those drawers. Got them all pretty cleaned up pretty good. I'll just give them all once over by hand. I do want to spray them, all the insides. Everything's raw, there's no finish on any of these. I just want to at least get a good seal coat. And I would bet any amount of money that those are all made out of poplar. Okay there, buds. That is one drawer totally sanded down, machine and by hand. I started on the machine here with a 150 grit, went all around. Then I got to the 150 grit, 150 by hand, then followed off with 220. That's my usual thing. So once I got this all sanded down, this is all obviously, everything's poplar. And probably the reason why they gave this such a reddish, such a really heavy, probably a toner finish, dye stain, something like that, to get it really red. There's a lot of poplar. You can see there, it's kind of greenish. And if you just stain that, you know, brown or whatever, that just still sticks out like a sore thumb. But if you hit it with red, they're like a complementary color, your red and green, so they kind of balance each other out, and that, you know, kind of muds that out, and it'll hide that green in there. So that's probably why they decided to go with like a reddish finish on this. So I'm sure once I sand everything else on here, that's all gonna look a lot like that. So I guess just wanted to show you how I did one drawer, and I mean that's ready for stain. And I'm just gonna stain the fronts. Haven't decided on the color yet though, or even if I should. I mean, maybe just all natural might look the best. I'll see. So as you can see there, I'll typically start on the back side just to get that knocked down, get that out of the way. And then I'll kind of systematically just work my way around it then. We'll just go from the left to the right, hit everything we can, do the front last because that's seen the most and you don't want to risk scratching that up at all. And then the top absolute last because that is one of the most important parts of it all. So we'll just do a quickie here. I just wanted to stop here and show you something here real quick. So I'm sure you probably noticed this, but when I'm going over these legs, I like to put a little chamfer, and that's just kind of breaking that edge at an angle, or even just rounding it over on all the bottoms of the feet. And I do that on most anything I really work on, and that'll prevent this, which already happened to this piece. Sometimes maybe you drag it across the floor or something that catches, and that's how you get it to splinter or, you know, get beat up like that. So I like to make that chamfer to help prevent that in the future. And also just rounding over, not rounding, but breaking the edge always on all the edges helps to take the finish a lot better than a sharp edge. So we'll get this glued up here, take a break for a minute, go look at some sunshine, and we'll get back. Figured since it was such a beautiful sunny blue sky day, me and Buck will take a ride out around the mountain, show you guys one of our favorite little views, little overlooks. It's a nice place just to sit and have a think. We made it up to the top here. It's really windy today. Now that we got that base sanded up, put it up here. We get that top all sanded down here. Got the 150 on the sander. Sand it down. We got a little bit of initials here and there carved into the top. Those should sand out. If not, we'll give them a quick steam and we'll go from there. Well, buds, here's that top all sanded down there to 220. That's all looking like it's yellow poplar on the top and the sides, and all the legs and the framework look to be maple. It's kind of funny that that actual top and that grain and that poplar is green, just like the paint that was on it. Well, here it is back with the drawers in it, just to give you a little bit better idea what it looks like now that it's all stripped and sanded and ready for finish. So in part 2, which I'll provide a link in the description once it's finished, we will focus more on the staining and the finishing process and any sort of little touch-ups, or like I always like to wax the doors, just different things like that. I'll show you a little bit more in depth of some of those types of things. And yeah, just as always, if you want to give me a like, a comment, a share, subscribe so you can follow along. And like I said, I'll put part 2 in the link, as well as a link that you could make a donation to this channel if you wish to do so. So thanks for watching, buds.